like, guys, before we start the review, like I said before, my jokes are purely for satirical purposes and are not to promote the use of guns. This is just a fake, everyday toy gun. It is not meant to make people think I encourage the violence of guns. I do not encourage the violence of guns. I do not condone any use of guns. I am against guns. I'm just going to say that, nothing more, nothing less. And now with that out of the way, let's get on with the review of Rambo. That's right, the fourth movie is called Rambo, even though the third one was called Rambo 3, which... oh, screw it, James Rolfe already talked about this. Well, what I have to say is that it's a good sequel, but not as good as the first one. But I do think it's kinda better than Part 3. And, yeah, it's probably the second best, which is exactly what James Rolfe said, but, meh. Well, I have to agree with James Rolfe that this movie is, well, the second best out of all the Rambo movies. But it's the most fucked up! That's right, it is the most fucked up! Sorry for that, guys, but it's true. This movie is one of the most fucked up movies I've ever seen. I'm going to repeat that. One of the most fucked up. I can't really say that where these, what the most fucked up thing I've ever seen in my life is, but I think that goes to a credit of a guy named Ralph, who made a Lord of the Rings movie. Well, anyway, what I have to say is that what makes it fucked up is that here's the difference between between the violence in the previous three movies. When someone is walking around, it's like dooby 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 doo. That's it, they just fall to the ground. But in this movie, do you know what happens when someone gets shot? Dooby 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 doo. Well, sorry for the crappy effects, but yeah. Pretty much someone gets shot up and they're covered in blood. Get that off screen, please. Thank you. I mean, it's just unbelievable. Just, why make the movie so bloody? I mean, I understand that from the movies route, you're trying to go for more realistic. But when someone gets shot up close with a machine gun, let's just say the front seats get a paint job of red. I don't want to discuss it. And yeah, the movie also has, not only is it bloody, but it's downright disturbing. Like the main villain, who is probably the best, but not because of his actual personality, because of his actions, is a creepy pedophile. Yes, it was creepy to find out he was a pedophile. Especially in that one scene. I don't want to talk about it. It's just disturbing. So, and then you also have the scene where the bad guys, I can't remember what they're supposed to be, but at one point they attack a village. Guys, it's probably the most fucked up massacre I've ever seen in a movie. I mean, you have these bad guys shooting innocent kids, innocent women, innocent men. There's even one bit when one of them throws a fucking baby into the fire. Okay, I'm sorry for that, but it slipped my tongue. But with all the in this movie, I suppose it just makes my mind really in awe. This is probably the first movie in years that made me go like, oh my. That's pretty much how I can say this movie. It's the first movie in years that actually made me go like, oh my god. Yeah. It's just, wow. And then you have, then at the beginning of the movie, we have a scene where they're making the villagers run across a field, and if they do so, well, they'll live. But here's the thing. They gotta get across it without stepping on any mines that'll blow them to freaking bits. It's downright disturbing to watch this. It's like, oh. But it probably has the best ending I've ever seen for an action movie because these guys are just so... they do these horrible things. They kill people. Innocent freaking people. And it's no for good freaking reason. At least in part 2 and 3, they had somewhat of a reason. But in this movie, it's because they're crazy. They're crazy people. And then Rambo says, time to fuck out these guys. Okay, he doesn't say that. That'd be too damn lame. Because, well, it's made by me. He gets a huge machine gun and just shoots those guys until they are nothing but little bit gory cube meats. Yeah, it's just such a satisfying ending. It's so... it'll probably be one of those endings that makes you say, fuck yeah! It's a great ending to see Rambo just take care of these assholes. It's great. And then you have, what else can I say? Well, the action, of course. I ranted for 6 minutes about the... Well, the action in this movie is good, but not as good as part 1, but better than part 2 and 3. There is more genuine suspense, and because that Sylvester Stallone was obviously going for more of a realistic angle, it helps the action feel more real than any of the other movies. But still, though, the first one had the best action. And then you have, the characters. Since this one takes place in, well, here's the thing. Rambo 3 came out in 1988. Rambo, the 4th movie, came out in 2008. So there's a huge time difference. And not only that, but, the only character from the past movies that really makes an appearance is John Rambo. Yeah. And all those characters that you saw from the previous movies that, like his mentor, I still can't remember his name. He's sadly not in this movie, but he's only there in flashback scenes, but then again, from what I've heard, the actor that played that guy passed away, so it's understandable. And what I have to say is that I think it's more as though a tribute to Rambo. It focuses on the character and not the genuine action and all that. It's kind of like the first one when it focuses on Rambo as the guy that represents all those veterans that did all that shit and they were given shit for bullshit reasons. I think that this is more as a tribute to John Rambo, which I have to admit is good. It's a good movie. It's definitely good if you enjoy the Rambo character. But sadly, there are also other characters. But the problem is that these extras are kind of bland. They don't really have a personality, or they're just kind of bland and really don't have anything special about them. And 2 of the actors, the one that plays the blonde woman and the man that plays her boyfriend, they're acting. They're the worst actors out of all the Rambo movies. But the rest of the acting's good. So the only character in this movie that's still somewhat developed is Rambo. But then again, since this is a tribute to Rambo, at least they keep the focus on Rambo and don't try to juggle a bunch of bland characters. So, what else do I have to say about the movie? Well, all I have to say is that it's a good sequel. But not as good as the first one, but better than part 2 and 3. So, it has characters that are most of the characters are bland, but it focuses on John Rambo, and he's good. The action is good, and it goes for more of a realistic route. If you're tired of all these cheesy action movies that are like, and just the main character's like, and yet, meh. So, if you're going for more of a realistic action movie, I'd recommend going for this one. So, I really can't think of anything else I can say about the movie. So, if you have a chance to see Rambo, as in Rambo the fourth movie, then I would recommend seeing it. Bye, guys. Oh, and soon we will review the Kate Crusader.